Good evening. Commercial airports across the country are placed on heightened alert after the air traffic service received a bomb threat via email on Friday. In a statement, the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines says the email claimed that aircraft from Manila going to Puerto Princesa, Mactan, Cebu, Bicol, and Davao International airports would be set off by a bomb. CAAP says it immediately put all 42 commercial airports in the country on heightened alert and ordered the deployment of additional security personnel. Authorities also advised passengers to prepare for intensified security inspections at the airport. CAAP also asks the public to cooperate with security personnel and remain vigilant while at the airport. It emphasizes that these measures are taken to safeguard all those in the airports. The Quezon City Police District apologizes to the Office of the Vice President after it was dragged into a traffic disruption along Commonwealth Avenue in Quezon City. A video went viral on Thursday implying that a police officer from QCPD halted the traffic flow in the highway because Vice President Sara Duterte would supposedly be passing through. QCPD Director Brigadier General Rodrigo Maranan says they extend their apologies to the OVP for any unintended association with a road closure. He says the Vice President was not the subject of the security measures taken during that time. OVP says Duterte had been in Agusan del Norte since Wednesday. According to Maranan, traffic management is an essential part of the security measures they provide for VIPs. But he emphasizes that their approach to simple traffic management should remain free from political influence. Meanwhile, Maranan says an administrative case will be filed against the policeman involved. QCPD earlier said the cop identified as Police Executive Master Sergeant Verdo Pantoliano has been relieved from his post. Vice President Sara Duterte is urged to release her statements of assets, liabilities, and net worth or SALN from her time as Davao City Mayor as well as her current post as the second highest official of the country. In a letter received by the Office of the Vice President on Thursday and made public on Friday, lawyer Dino De Leon makes the request as a taxpayer alarmed by reports on Duterte's expenditures of the public's money. De Leon adds this is in line with Republic Act No. 6713 or the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for Public Officials and Employees. The lawyer emphasizes that Duterte's SALN must be made available for public scrutiny. He adds that the public also has to know the financial and business interests of her spouse and underage children. Lawmakers from both chambers of Congress have questioned the need for confidential funds of both the OVP and the Department of Education, which Duterte heads. The Vice President's confidential funds during her time as Davao Mayor were also put under scrutiny. INQUIRER.net has reached out to the OVP for a comment, but it has yet to receive a response. A new Pulse Asia survey reveals that while 95% of Filipinos have increased their spending on food, more than half of the population started eating less. The new survey reveals that compared to 89% in September 2022, 95% or nearly all adults reporting spending more on food in the last 3 months. The latest survey also shows that 53% say they consumed less food in the last 3 months. In terms of classes, Class E had the most people reduce eating at 63%. They are followed by Class D at 52% and Class ABC at 42%. According to Pulse Asia, rice took the lion's share of Filipinos' food spending at 83%, with 61% spending more on other foods aside from rice. Electricity also takes a large majority of household expenditures at 62%, while the next largest cost is gasoline or diesel at 22%. The Philippine Coast Guard says the Marshall Islands probe into the fatal collision of Pangasinan could help in the pursuit of claims and damages for the victims. In a message to reporters, PCG spokesperson Rear Admiral Armand Balilo says the PCG has since requested the Marshall Islands flag state to conduct their safety investigation. He adds the result of the probe can be used in pursuit of claims and damages for the boat owner, victims, and survivors. On Monday, 3 crew members of FFB Dirin were killed while one sustained minor injuries following the collision of their boat with Pacific Ana, a crude oil tanker registered under the Marshall Islands. According to PCG, the incident occurred some 180 nautical miles from Agno, Pangasinan. Balilo says the PCG will tow deer in, which will be preserved for investigation. Meanwhile, Balilo also hopes for Singapore's cooperation as it is Pacific Ana's next port of call. He says they hope the Singaporean Port State Control Authority conducts an inspection on the oil tanker. President Bongbong Marcos is urging the public to help in the government efforts against smugglers and hoarders. In his speech in Rojas City, Capiz, Marcos says smugglers and hoarders continue to manipulate prices of agricultural products.
Makiluhok sa pagbabantay sa ating lipunan. Marami po rin po tayong malaking nakakapanloloko ng kapwa. Tunay po ang nakakagalit ng mga smuggler at hoarder na yan. Nasisira ang daloy ng merkado, kaya tumataas ang presyo ng mga pangunahing bilihin dahil sa kanilang mga iligal na gawain.
The president has repeatedly pointed to smuggling and hoarding of agricultural goods as the reason for soaring prices. Marcos previously ordered the imposition of a price ceiling on rice in September due to increasing rice prices, but eventually lifted it on October 4. Marcos asks for the public's cooperation to report any anomalous transactions.
Mga kababayan, gaano man kalaki ang kanilang sindikato, tulad na natimbog natin sa na-smuggler sa pier ng Zamboanga noong buwan ng Agosto, wala pong binabatbat yan sa nagkakaisang nating lakas. Kaya kung may nalalaman po kayong sangkot sa mga ganitong transaksyon, huwag po kayong matakot na magsuplong.
Here's the latest roundup of today's top stories. Commercial airports placed on heightened alert after air traffic service received a bomb threat via email on Friday. QCPD apologizes to Vice President Sara Duterte for dragging OVP in a supposed traffic jam in Commonwealth Avenue that went viral. And Jiu-Jitsu fighter Annie Ramirez delivers Philippines' third gold in the Asian Games. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.